the bubble. Mavs, Clippers, Game 6. LA and Kawhi looking to put it away. Luka looking to keep his season alive in what has been a coming-out party in this postseason. Here we go. End of the first quarter. Mavs down a deuce. Oh, here's a dirty play. Marcus Morris and Luka have a history. It goes back about a week, and this was going to be the end of it, at least for this series. As you take another look, this is the third incident between the two. Morris this time hitting Luka on the head. Luka not happy, and understandably so. Morris getting called for a flagrant 2 and ejected, and correctly so. So that was that storyline. Meanwhile, to the third quarter, Clippers up a dozen, and it would become the Kawhi show. Oh, look at this. Connie Hawkins, anybody? Look at him putting it up and good. Clippers a 14-point lead. On the other end, shot clock winding down. Luka was so good it's impossible to put it into words. Oh, he gets Paul George to jump. And the foul. Mavericks down 11 after 3. Fourth quarter. Mavs down 9. They wouldn't make it all the way back, but you can't blame this kid. Luka Doncic, 38, 9 boards, 9 assists. He was brilliant, but in the end it was too much. Kawhi. Seth Curry, bad matchup. Clippers up 9. The lead is 8, and it's Kawhi looking to put it away. 33 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals. There's nothing he didn't do. Kawhi and the Clippers advancing to the second round.
You always celebrate. I mean, you could be going home right now. So, it's one step closer to, where we want to get to. So, it's a good accomplishment.
Kawhi is a man of business. He stepped up, he stepped in. Time after time, whenever we needed him, he put us on his back. He finished the series. I can't say it enough. He's just one of a kind.
Literally did everything for the Clippers yesterday with the points and the boards and the assists and the steals. He's the 7th player in NBA history with that stat line, and the first in 20 years. MJ, Pippen, Barkley, and others you see on the list who have accomplished that feat. And we'll have a lot of basketball conversation this morning, and it begins right now with Jackie MacMullan and Kendrick Perkins. Good morning to both of you. And let's start with the Kawhi of it all here. Big fella, how would you describe what Kawhi in these playoffs, picking up where he did last year, what he did for his team yesterday and in this series?
Well, it's been phenomenal, Greeny. When you look at it, I keep saying this, Kawhi games mimic Michael Jordan. He's been the best player series and been not talked about because of Luka and his age and what Luka has done at the age of 21. But you look at Kawhi and what he's done on the offensive end. Doc basically moved him to the point guard position. Forget that he's the best mid-range scorer in the game today, but I'm talking about his facilitating, the way that he's able to make others around him better. And then on the defensive end last night, we saw him take it upon himself to guard Luka. To try, Dallas had to run pick and rolls to get the switch, but he was on Luka on the defensive end, and he had to do everything on the offensive end. You saw what happened last night when they took him out of the start. When they took him out in the start of the fourth quarter, man, Dallas went on that run. Doc Rivers said, hold on, I got to get Kawhi back in there. We're talking about a guy that was averaging 30-plus, 10-plus rebounds, so he's been dominant, the best player in that series by far.
No question. I saw you tweet yesterday, Perk, that they need him to do everything. I don't know if that's good news or bad news because he's capable of doing it. But, Jackie, what are your thoughts on Kawhi and the performance he gave them yesterday, especially when they needed buckets in that fourth quarter?
Well, Greeny, I think you see how devastating he is as an ISO player, and they were smart enough to get him in ISO situations. You mentioned the matchup with Curry, and he's just in that zone now. And I will say this, all the people, and I was one of them, that said, why is he sitting out all these regular season games? That doesn't feel like the right thing to do. Who's having the last laugh here? Kawhi Leonard is playing big minutes, as Perk mentioned, excelling on both ends of the floor. He looks fresh. He looks focused. The Clippers handled this the right way. Kawhi Leonard handled this the right way. He's been, in my opinion, the most dominant player in these playoffs.
Yeah, certainly. Last year, he was as good as anyone practically ever and doing it again. But I don't think we should let this series go by, Jackie, without acknowledging the coming out party. I think that this is the dawning of the era of Luka Doncic that we saw. Someday we will look back and say, this series that they lost in 6 games was when we first discovered what Luka Doncic is about to become. How would you put into perspective, Jackie Mack, what we saw from Luka these 6 games?
Well, it's just, and Perk hit on it, it's incredible what he's doing as a 21-year-old. But I think what people who maybe didn't follow him very closely before don't understand is he was doing things like this as a 16-year-old overseas. If I'm Luka, I'm always going to wonder, how would this series have gone if my tag team friend Porzingis could have played in this series? He's a transcendent talent. He's going to be around for a long, long time.
I had that same thought, Big Perk. I don't know what would have happened in this series. In every minute that was played, when Porzingis was playing and eligible, the Mavericks looked like the better team. At minimum, the Clippers couldn't stop them. But putting that aside, how good is he? I mean, you watch him, Perk. You've been playing this game. How good is this kid Doncic at 21?
He's so good, Greeny. He's a top 5 player right now. We're talking about a guy who don't rely on his athleticism. Luka gets his spots. He rely on his skill set. I was just so amazed on how he was able to handle the pick and rolls while he was getting guys on his hips, going downhill, finishing at the rim. And another thing, Greeny, this is a guy that's not that athletic, that goes and gets rebounds. Like, he gets them at a high usage rate for us with, you know, being a point forward, should you call him. But the sky's the limit. He's been a top 5 guy for me all season long, and he proved it in these playoffs.
100%. And when they need him, he doesn't miss. It was a spectacular performance, but not enough. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.